In this video, I hope to show my build process for this jewelry box. I think it turned out pretty great, and I hope you can learn something. It was mostly constructed out of one solid slab of canary wood. There's some other exotic woods in the drawers like leopard wood and Bolivian rosewood, but this is pretty much all just canary wood. The most difficult part is cutting up this giant slab on a relatively small shop table saw. And you can see it just rocking back and forth, and as that happens, the wood is putting a lot of pressure on the blade, and you can see the smoke just shooting out there. With time, I got a little better at making sure this slab didn't rock around and was able to get some straight cuts. You not only have to cut all four sides of this box enclosure, but also a big slab that you're going to cut up into thinner pieces that can be used as the shelving bottom and the back of the case. I highly recommend planing each piece of wood as you go along, because you just want to make sure that everything is nice and straight edged, so this planer will even off the top there. Here you can see we are cutting the sides of the case to spec so that it's perfectly even and both sides are the same length. Next step is to take the sides over to the router so that you can cut out some grooves. In these channels, you're actually going to put some drawer slides. So these are going to be some kind of hardwood pieces that the drawers can slide along later. Definitely measure twice and cut once here on the router. You want to set everything up perfectly, and then you're going to run these through pretty evenly. And I made some mistakes in the measurement along the way, but I was able to fix them later. But just don't be like me, and make sure you measure everything perfectly before you start cutting these grooves. Next up, we're going to cut 45-degree angles on each side of the box enclosure. And so this will, these are just simple 45-degree joints that will come together later. Now, as you can see here, when I cut these, for whatever reason, the edge wasn't perfectly straight, and I'm not even quite sure why. I think the canary wood actually bowed up in the middle, and it kind of created like this circular edge, so I kind of had to work around that a little bit, and when I clamped the boxes together, I had to press those those sides that weren't quite even in. As I was trying to glue up the box here, you can see that it just fell apart on me, and mistakes happen, so had to start over there. I finally got it all clamped up and it was looking good, and you can see here now I'm putting in the rails. These are the hardwood rails that the drawers will slide on later. As I put the back on, I'm making sure that the back fits perfectly, and to do that you just cut it to size and then plane off small little pieces of the edge to make sure that it fits in there perfect. Next up, we're going to cut up the drawers and the drawer faces. So we'll go back to the bandstall and start cutting away. Now we're going to cut all the sides of the drawers to length and make sure that they're all even and they all match. Next up, I'm going to join the box sides together using simple box joints. And to do this, I actually got a jig from my local woodworking store. And this is the first time I've ever used this jig, but it turned out to work pretty darn good, so I was pretty happy with it. I'm going to cut some grooves or some channels along the bottom of the sides of the drawer. So this is where the bottom of the shelf, the wood insert, will slide into. As you can see here, I'm cutting out the bottoms for the drawers. These will be the wood panels that will go in the bottom. And you can see that I didn't make it perfectly square the first time that I tried this, so I had to go back to the bandsaw, make sure everything was nice and perfect, nice and square, and then try again. And please don't be like me here and put your fingers that close to a bandsaw blade. So not my proudest moment there, but all is well that ends well. Next up, we're going to glue up the drawers here and clamp them with square corner clamps. Okay, next up, we actually are going back to the router and we're going to router in some channels. And these are going to be the channels on which the drawers will slide in and out on those hardwood guides that we put in earlier. After we are finished at the router, we can go ahead and dry fit everything and make sure that these drawers slide in and out on those hardwood guides. In order to make sure that the drawer faces are perfectly flush with the edge later on, I'm actually going to put some threaded inserts in the back here, and then we can just go ahead and put some screws in, and those screws will allow you to kind of micro adjust in and out so that you can make sure the face later on is perfectly flush with the side of the case. Next up, I actually had to build a custom jig from scratch, and the whole point of this jig is to allow me to cut dovetail splines in the corner of the canary wood case. And if you do this right, they will come out perfect and pretty beautiful. So highly recommend taking the time to build this jig, and then you can get these beautiful splines that really just pop. Later on it will look perfect. Again, I was really happy with how these dovetail splines were cut into the case. I think they came out really clean looking. And for the dovetail splines, I just cut these trapezoidal pieces of Bolivian rosewood that are just going to slip in there. And I love the contrast of the dark wood against the light canary wood. Here you can see I just used some hand saws to cut off the excess of those dovetail joints, and then I can sand down the little bump that remains of the spline. So now we have to cut the hardwood drawer faces out of other types of exotic wood. So I chose leopard wood and Bolivian rosewood, two of my favorite woods to work with here, but you have to cut them down to size, and I actually made another custom jig to make sure that these very expensive pieces of wood were cut properly. And I was worried that because they were too small, they were going to get caught in the edge there and get sucked into the table saw or shot back. So I created a custom jig to just make it a little bit easier for myself here and make sure that I wasn't going to waste this wood. With that, we can go ahead and glue on the drawer faces, which is very exciting. I found these custom brass handle insert thingies that I'm going to use, and I really love the way that they look, but they're kind of a pain to insert into the wood properly. So take your time here, trace the outline, and then head on over to the drill press, drill out some holes, and then you're going to have to chisel the remainder of the cavity into which these drawer pulls will go. And with that, it's finally time to just finish it. I simply used some polyurethane, a few coats of polyurethane, along with, after that dried, I used some finishing wax or finishing paste. And overall, I'm really happy with how the jewelry chest turned out.